Video showing the aftermath of the Ukrainian drone attack at Russia's strategic Engels airfield has been published in social media. The videos published on X show the destruction caused by the drone attack on the airfield in southern Russian Saratov region on the night leading to March 20, as well as the moment of the strike. The attack has potentially destroyed a significant stockpile of Russian missiles and fuel in the area. 2 people have been injured as a result of the fire, local authorities said. Russian sources reported that the explosion was so powerful that it scattered debris up to 5 kilometers away and wiped out a nearby settlement. Dozens of low-flying, Ludiai, kamikaze drones were reportedly used in the attack. The attack has caused massive damage, according to the reports. A source within the Security Service of Ukraine, SBU, confirmed hitting the airbase Engels. The statement comes after Regional Governor Roman Busargin reported the heaviest drone strike against Saratov region throughout the entire 3 years of full-scale war. It should be noted that 2 95ms and 2 160 fighters are stationed at the Engels airfield, located about 500 kilometers from the border with Ukraine. These aircraft are regularly used to carry out strikes on Ukraine.
Вообще жесть.
Вот. Нету дач. Нету ни одной дачи. Все дачи пострадали. Разруха пиздец. Даже ходить опасно, сказали сейчас. Полиция сказала уходить, что сейчас еще прилеты будут и детонации будут. Не рвитесь сюда никто. Осколки летают. Такие тяжеленькие. Вот смотрите, какие осколки. Вот металлические. Вот они валяются везде. Вот.
Взрывается что-то. Что там? А? Рок, не слышу, что говорит.
Ну что-то взрывается и отлетает, блядь, как...
This night in Russia, several objects were attacked that help Vladimir Putin's regime to continue the war against Ukraine. Among them is the Engels oil base in the Saratov region, where it arrives not for the first time. It was the biggest attack ever made on Engels. But, apparently, warehouses with ammunition at the airfield also suffered. Indeed, Andrei Kovalenko, the head of the Center for Countering Disinformation at the National Security Service, confirmed on his TG channel that during the night operation, the Russians lost missiles, including X-101. True, the quantity will be clear later. At this airfield, they store most of the missiles used by the strategic aviation for strikes on Ukraine, Kovalenko reminded. Unofficial monitoring groups report that 30 to 60 X-101 missiles could have been brought to this airfield in the last 2 weeks. A large transport plane, an 124-100 Ruslin, with an unknown cargo also arrived there. Analysts noted that usually 30 to 70 rockets are stored in such warehouses, and in the morning Il-76 arrived at the base, probably delivering a new batch of X-101 for Strata Aviation. In addition, after the impact, the debris was scattered within a radius of 5 kilometers, which increases the probability of damage to the planes that were on the airfield. Previously, there were 3 Tu-95MS and 2 160 on the airbase. The airfield itself is one of the key sites of Russian long-range aviation, and Tu-95MS regularly take off from there to attack Ukraine. Now a state of emergency has been introduced in the airport area. Evacuation is ongoing.
Despite the reduction, the Ukrainian bridgehead in the Kursk region continues to hold out. This was reported on air by Ukrainian military observer Denis Popovich on Radio NV. Our influence in the Kursk region is minimized. I mean our control of the territory. But there is a presence of Ukrainian troops in the Kursk region. The Russians managed to reduce our foothold because they controlled the road to Sudza with drones. Now this influence has decreased because we have left, Popovich said. He added that now the Russians are trying to enter the territory of Ukraine and break through a number of settlements there, in particular Basovka. According to the expert, the enemy's goal is to encircle our bridgeheads from the Sumy region. Therefore, I would expect attempts to dislodge our troops from the remnants of the bridgehead in the Kursk region, and attempts to advance in the Sumy region. That is, to begin an offensive on the Sumy region, but not on Sumy, in order to complete the task of eliminating the Kursk bridgehead and creating a security zone in the Sumy region, as Putin spoke about. Popovich added, on the eve, BBC journalists published testimonies of Ukrainian defenders who retreated from Kursk region. They called this operation a scene from a horror film. They also note that during the retreat from Sudza, there was panic and a collapse of the front among the defense forces. Since last week, Russia has moved several hundred civilians from zones it has recaptured from Ukraine in the Kursk region to safer areas east of the main town, Sudza. Images of Sudza released by Russia after battles to retake it shows rows of houses destroyed and a town center badly damaged, with rubble littering the streets. The Kremlin has presented Moscow's fast military offensive in the area as a major success. But the fact that no civilian corridor was created in the Kursk region sparked anger towards the authorities, mostly from relatives of those trapped. The ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine saw intensified clashes in the Kursk region in western Russia recently, as the Russian side claimed its forces have taken control of almost all the settlements in the region. According to a report from the Russian news agency TASS, Deputy Chief of the Russian Armed Forces main military political department, Apti Alodinov, said that Russian forces have recaptured almost all the settlements in the Kursk region with significant military advances. Meanwhile, the General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces reported attacks toward Russian forces in the directions of Kharkiv and Kupiansk. Serhiy Neyev, commander of a Ukrainian tactical group in Donbass, said that Ukrainian forces have withdrawn troops from one front line in the Donetsk region, which he described as an unfavorable position. He also added that this action would not only save the lives of soldiers, but also improve defensive capabilities.